Now the On Your Side forecast with Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval.
Well, we had a lot of snow last week in Idaho's mountains. Plenty of moisture coming in, a good surge of moisture. This week, looks like the spigot's going to turn off, and it may go all the way through next week as well. 2 weeks of not much happening at all, so we got to make these numbers run. So let's take a look at these numbers here closely. You remember last week, Boise Basin was down to either 49 or 50% at its low point, and bumping up to 67% of average. So that was a real good boost of 16% of a change. In fact, 18% if you go from the lowest point. But from the last time I updated these numbers, we were sitting at 50 here, and then it went to 56, and now 67. So all of these numbers went up. Oahe Basin and the Bruno Basin changed maybe 1%. That was about it. The snow really came in and targeted these locations. The Clearwater Basin, almost 18% of a bump from last week. The Snake Basin went from 93 to 108. The Bear River Basin was in the yellow category, now in the green category. Wood River got a good bump here, about 10%. It was way below, and it's still way below when you think about it. We're still down here in the red, which is way down less than 60. But certainly it helped, and I'll try to show you a graph here in the next couple of days that shows that line shooting up nicely at Moores Creek Summit. And you look at the Panhandle and Clearwater doing very well, near average and above average again in some places in eastern Idaho. So it helped. But unfortunately, over the next 2 weeks, all of these numbers are going to go down because it's percent of average. You need to keep getting snow technically each day to keep the number at average. It's just not going to happen, and so we'll probably drop back into the 50s before the next 2 weeks is out in the Boise Basin. Speaking of which, look at the desert southwest here. A worsening drought. The California snowpack in general at 16% of average, and there's your extreme areas of drought. And so we'll detail this as we go through the season. That can really affect the fire season, and of course obviously the water situation there as well. 45 degrees again in Boise, as we mentioned, with that breeze. Will be settling down tonight, still breezy towards Mountain Home, east of Boise into the Magic Valley. You look at the temperatures across the nation, and that real Arctic cold has kind of disappeared. There's one small area from Minnesota northward to the arrowhead of Minnesota, up around, or should Minneapolis northward of the arrowhead of Minnesota. Temperatures mostly in the teens and 20s, but that's it. It's 82 degrees in Southern California right now, warm and dry. 76 in Miami, even up in Boston, temperatures in the 40s. So much of the nation, not too much going on. There's some rain back east, but as far as temperatures go, that real cold air has retreated. The polar vortex is where it belongs, up near the North Pole. That's where the cold air is. So clouds drifting on through, and some snow now drifting down from north to south near Great Falls. That'll keep cloud cover in eastern Idaho and the central mountains, the west central mountains. You'll keep some cloud cover around, but the people who clear tonight will likely see a good deal of fog forming again. There it is, that nasty ridge of high pressure sitting there again. This is shutting down the storm track, which is sagged way to the south, and the storms came blasting in, but right now it's building on in. Everything's going to go over this. The storm track will shift to the north, and we will be shut down for precipitation. Beautiful weather along the Oregon coast, but it's going to spell dry conditions for us. If it moves just a little bit to the west, it allows these areas of snow to come down, but they typically go down the continental divide and maybe hit eastern Idaho. That's really about it. All in all, not much of a change coming in. When you look at this forecast here, it's staying mostly clear. Now, we'll have fog forming in the lower valleys. It won't show up in this chart, but this is showing the storminess. Nothing around here. It's Wednesday afternoon, and that is really about it. No snow cover expected in the mountains. No new snow. There's still high pressure building in. Snow and windy conditions move to the north, and by the latter part of this week, big ridge of high pressure across the west, keeping us dry and mild, while the snow showers shift to back east. So the Treasure Valley forecast coming up for tomorrow. Watch out for patchy fog, some places dense in the morning, and then that sunshine will come out and it'll be beautiful. Temperatures near 40, light winds. This is about 2 degrees above average, depending where you are. A pretty nice day coming up. 50 in Riggins tomorrow. Patchy fog and some lingering clouds in Valley County, getting into the 30s later on, but in the 40s in Boise County. Comfortable weather, a great day to skip out and maybe get some skiing in because the sun will be shining. A bluebird day in many locations, especially western sections. The Magic Valley, 47 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds and that early morning fog around as well. Here's my On Your Side extended forecast, and you see the one thing that's in common there on all those days? It's always tough to tell how an inversion is going to set on in. The big, huge, mega difference with this situation from the last one, no snow in the ground.
Right.
And I was watching it, and that snow was melting real fast. And come on, melt, 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 because if you get rid of that moisture, there's less moisture to be trapped in the valley. You'll still get the fog, but it doesn't get as cold.
More hazy than that deep.
Exactly.